The two best days in a blogger's life are first, the day that you register a brand new shiny domain and you have all the promise and things you want it to become, and the day you sell that blog and you make your glorious exit to sit by the pool, sip nice drinks, and I don't know, drive fancy cars. So today we're talking about exiting your website. It's something that we don't talk about enough because many of you have kind of that in your plan, that you want to build a website up and then sell it. We're going to talk about why you would want to do that and how much money you can expect to make. Plus, coming from somebody who has bought and sold dozens of different websites, I want to share with you some really critical tips to get top dollar when you're ready to sell. So first of all, how much is your site going to sell for? It's going to sell for about 27 to 60 times the monthly net revenue of the website. Now that's a huge range, 27 times and 60 times. We all hope it's going to be 60 that it sells for, but often we're not going to get anywhere near that. Now this range has changed a lot over the years, and it changes with the economy. Right now, sites are selling for some bonkers prices, things that were unimaginable a couple of years ago. 60 times? It used to be 40 times was high. And now we're seeing the numbers keep creeping up as the economy is just running loose. By the way, inflation is kind of scaring me. I'm nervous about putting money in the markets right now. So let's look at how you would know what you're going to get. So let's say you make a simple niche site. I'm looking over here because I have my notes. So let's say you make a simple niche site. It's earning $50 a month. I mean, if it's built with organic traffic and you're getting decent traffic over there, let's just say it's going to sell for 35 times the monthly net earnings. The problem at this stage is that most people, when the site is that small, they want to sell off the content on the website and not the revenue on the website. This is where I see listings all the time that are like, I have 350 posts. They're all amazing, organic. It's going to be so huge. But right now it's only earning $50, right? They want to sell off the content, and buyers want to buy off the revenue. Now, there's nothing wrong with selling off content if it really is built correctly and if that content is new. But when I see a site that's been up for a year and a half and they're trying to sell it off content, well, I can already see how the content performed poorly. It's not bringing anything in, so I'm not paying off content. I'm going to pay off the results if that content is aged. If it's new and you really do think it's good content and a good niche that it will grow, there's nothing wrong with that though. So a site that's earning $50 a month, let's say we get to 35 times earnings, that's going to be $1,750. Ka-ching, right? That's good. But usually if it's only earning $50 a month, we probably aren't even going to get to the 35 times earnings. It's probably going to be more like the 28 times earnings because there just isn't enough traffic. There aren't enough articles ranking well to really solidify the earnings. And so these really small sites, they're just not as solid of an investment unless you have a real plan for how you're going to grow it. So if you only got 28 times revenue, it's only going to be about $1,450 is all you're going to get for the site. Now let's move to the mid-tier, a site that's earning $500 a month. This is a decent spot to start acquiring a website because $500 a month doesn't happen by accident. Something is happening right in this business, and it's probably repeatable. And so a site here is very likely to get that 35 times revenue if the traffic and the way that the site is earning money are pretty consistent. So a site earning $500 a month would earn $17,500 in the exit. That's pretty cool. Most people are going to be excited about that. I mean, you could buy a car for a $500 website. You could sell that and get yourself a car. But also, I kind of feel like in this place is a little hard to sell because once you've proven that, once you've got it to $500 a month, most people are going to say, man, I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away from increasing this where I could get a lot more money. I would have a really hard time selling a site that's earning $500 a month, because it's way harder to go from $0 to $100 a month than it is to go from $500 a month to $1,000 or much more a month. You know, you have enough traffic, you now can see your Google Analytics, you know how much, what's working and what's not. It's just not that hard to push it a little bit further. And so I would have a hard time selling in this price point. So now let's say you built up a site to $5,000 per month. This kind of site usually has developed some kind of authority online. Usually you have strong backlinks. Sometimes you'll have some ebooks, little info products you can toss in there. You've kind of figured some things out with monetization. And so a site here is often going to sell for a little bit of a higher multiple than like that 35. And so let's call this at $5,000 a month. Let's call this 40 times revenue. And so that kind of site, 5,000 a month, 40 times revenue, that's $200,000 for that site. And a site in that kind of price point is usually going to take a little bit of time to sell, because usually the sweet spot for selling is when when the cost is between $20,000 and $70,000. That's just a sweet spot. A lot of people have that much money to invest, and so those kind of sites just sell really fast. When we get to 200,000, people are really going to analyze this business. They're really going to try to understand how they could grow it, look where the low-hanging fruit is. So expect it to sit on the market a little bit longer if you're in that $200,000 price point. All right, now we get to the really big ones. Let's say we get a site that's earning $30,000 a month. You'll recall in my video 2 weeks ago, I made a video about getting to 1 million page views. And 1 million page views, I really feel like we could pull out $30,000 a month from. That's our goal with Backfire, that I'm working toward every day. That's like my major project right now, is gnats everywhere, is building up Backfire to 1 million page views a month. So when we get that site up to 1 million page views a month, if we can pull out $30,000 in... Did you see that? Was it on camera? When that thing gets to $30,000 a month, if we were to sell that site, you know, at this point, a site usually has significant authority. It's usually known in an industry, has a ton of traffic sources and income. And so often sites in this kind of bracket are going to sell between 40 and 50 times earnings. Now, that being the case, you know, a site with $30,000 a month is going to bring in between $1.2 and $1.5 million when you sell it. Ka-ching, right? And I know for a lot of you that feels like really far out to be thinking of something like that. But I noticed this interesting phenomenon as I talk to people who are really successful in our program. People who, you know, just started out just like everybody else, start in the program, and they start building up their website, and they get their curry day where they earn their first $5. We give them a badge in the community, and then $100 a month, $500 a month, $1,000. They get their full-time income. That, by the way, we might be mailing out something really cool to our full-time income earners here pretty soon. Thanks to a cool project with Ricky Arms at thinkengrave.com. Anyway, just saying. But when I see those people get to the full-time income, it's only a matter of time before they just blow the $4,000 a month out of the water. Because when you've figured out the skills you need to bring a site to there, it means you've kind of figured out a little bit of the scaling. It means you not only know how to write good content, make the good niche selection, and actually make money from it. Now you've kind of figured out how to start outsourcing the content and get that to rank. And so the people that get to the full-time, usually I talk to them a year later or so, and they're just hitting the stratosphere, right? And so I know it feels really far away to build up a site to $30,000 a month, but if you learn the skills as you go, people are doing it every day. About 2 or 3 times a week, One of my jobs at Income School is I evaluate deals for us. We buy a lot of websites, especially because coming up in just the next few weeks, ContentWarrior.com's marketplace is about to go live. We're going to be brokering sites if you want to sell your site through us. We're also buying sites and we're selling sites on there. We have worked with a few other companies in the industry and we're very nonplussed with the way that the brokerage business is working. And so we're about to dive in. And so I'm making a lot of acquisitions for us to try to build up inventory so we have stuff to sell. So a few tips as I've looked through a lot of different sites for sale. The first one, and the way you just have to remember this, if you know a sale is in the future of your business, sell on the Incline. Sell on the Incline. You do not want to wait until something happens. A big algorithm update, we just had one a couple days ago, the big June update they're calling it, and there's going to be another core update in July, and it was brought a lot of turbulence in the SERPs. By the way, I'm not talking about that more here because I don't know what happened. We're trying to figure it out right now. But you have to sell on the Incline. The problem is everybody says, oh no, it's still going up. I don't want to sell this thing. It's still going up. I'm going to get more and more. But you know what? Things change on the internet. And so don't wait for a decline to sell. I mean, your site may earn 30% less if it's even had a little bit of a dip recently when you sell. You really want to sell on the Incline. Next, you really have to depersonalize the site. If you have a podcast and a YouTube channel, you may see that as a good thing, and to a buyer, they probably see it as a negative. They say, oh, these people are attached to the owner of the website, and when I take it over, is it going to hurt the business? This is really what hurt the sale of Improved Photography, and I knew it would, but it was okay because I developed it as a personal brand for so long. But you know, where I was the podcaster, the YouTuber, the everything so much for so many years, I had to step away from the business for about 1.5 years to 2 years and watch some of the decline happen that was related to me and me being the face of the business. I had to let that happen in order to even make it a sellable asset. If you really want the huge exit, you really have to depersonalize a little bit. Next is easy maintenance. If you have to do a bunch of emailing with customer service stuff or a membership site seems like a good thing, but a membership site can also be a ton of maintenance. And so if you don't have the revenue, if you're earning $30,000 a month, the fact that you have an employee that runs a service that earns that much, it's not that big of a deal, right? But if you have a site that's only earning $2,000 a month and you have a bunch of customer service email stuff, that's really going to hurt it. Nobody wants to buy an active asset at that kind of price point. The last one is the biggest one for me. I will not buy a website if I don't see boredom happening in the graphs in Google Analytics. Now, it's fine if it's Incline. It could even be fine if there's a dip if I'm getting a deal here and I think I could bring it back. But if I see squirreliness of the traffic going up and down and I see the revenue kind of going up and down and crazy stuff, I'm not buying. I'm out. A lot of people are different in that way, that they're okay with squirreliness as long as it's going up. Those usually seem like the unsophisticated buyers kind of are okay with that stuff. And usually the more you look at deals, the more you realize like, hey, websites shouldn't do that. They shouldn't look squirrely in the traffic all the time. A healthy website that's getting organic traffic should look fairly consistent and steady, seasonality, whatever, but there should be a lot of steadiness to it. And so that's my number one thing that that's two. That's my number one thing that I'm looking for is steadiness in the traffic sources and in the revenue. Hey, if you want to build up a site and have a big exit, we want to be your team to help you get there. And so go to incomeschool.com, check out our membership, Project 24. It's where we're going to teach you everything from the ground up to build a website right, to reliably get the traffic and income to make you money.